He's up and over, he's got goals! 13.
Against the clock, it really didn't matter.
No scriptwriter could have ever written a better story.
Experience equestrian sport in a whole new way. Enjoy exclusive access to live streams and our extensive archive. See more, discover more with Clip My Horse TV Premium.
Well, hello there and a very warm welcome to you wherever you may be watching from around the world to this edition of All-X Grand Prix this afternoon, and very much looking forward to digging into the sport because what a class it is set to this Grand Prix today, and we are a matter of weeks away from a World Championship, so plenty to come. I'm not on my own in the studio today. I'm joined by Equirating's one and only Sam Watson.
Joining us is Sam Watson, Olympic eventer, World Equestrian Games medalist, and co-founder of Equiratings. With decades of experience at the top of the sport and a passion for data-driven insight, Sam brings a unique blend of riding expertise and sharp analytics to the In-Out studio.
What a sizzle reel. And we often just, we have a laugh, Sam. We like to keep it light, but Olympian, world, all of the data today, and you are pumped up for this Grand Prix.
It's a super Sunday, folks. Thank you, Amy. What a flattering open on this Sunday morning. But folks, you've got an absolute feast of top-class sport at a world-class venue. It's Pink Day. It's Pink Sunday. One of the ones we look forward to every year in the calendar. And as you say, Amy, 4 of the top 5 on doing battle today. It's going to be an absolute stellar Grand Prix.
Absolute corker. And talking about jumping, Dinard, what that we are fortunate this incredible venue was established in 1912. The Valporret Ring was designed in 1985, and it was designed particularly for the sport of show jumping. It is bespoke today. It originally was to do with horses, and of course its signature colour is pink, which we'll learn a little bit more about throughout the course of the show. And if you hadn't noticed already, we are both in pink today.
1985, that was the year I was born, and it may have been doing battle or preparing for battle, that ring, over 100 years ago, whenever it was in 1912. But I tell you, everyone is preparing for battle now, for the Battle of Aachen that's coming up. They're all here, but they're going to do battle here in Dinard today. Before that takes place. So
and I won't tell you mine. Porter, who's usually the commentator, he's the man behind the mic. Today he's in front of the camera. It's John Kyle. John, bring us up to speed with how everything is
on the In-Out studio, but it's great to be here. I'm loving La Vie en Rose here in Dinard. I get frequently asked, what's your favourite showground, John? And as said, I've commentated here a few times. I'm lucky enough to be here now for the first time and really see it. And I said to somebody yesterday, it's like, it might be this one all of a sudden. It is just beautiful. It's so French, it's relaxed, but it has that red hot sporting action as well. So as you say, 4 of the world's top 5 coming out to play today over a course designed over such an undulating grass ring. We talked about it so much about the Derby yesterday, but my goodness, it plays into the difference and maybe the heritage of the sport in a way that a lot of other flatter arenas don't anymore. And when you're coming down some of the terrain that this arena offers at meter 60 for, you know, €500,000 on the line in a Rolex Series Grand Prix, it really is going to be a big one here in Dinard. So I'm very excited and all set, Amy.
For John Kyle, he's the best of the best, and we're rapt to have him. Super at this because we were lucky enough to get a bird's eye view of Dinard. Just have a look at that showground. Incredible stuff. You can see that amazing grass arena. They're supported there by having the warm up on surface. They've got plenty of space, and that looks like, I said this yesterday, that looks like AI in the background there, that beautiful to have a show like this.
Anyone can win, and from an analytics point of view, it's the toughest one for the best competitors in the field to win. But what a way to tour the world, to go to these show jumping venues. I think and soak it all up, because Dinard looks beautiful.
We love it. We'll be following that story, that is for sure. You're going to have to get social media before then, by the way. No comment.
No, it's a holiday. It's a holiday.
It's a holiday. We want to take a little bit more of a look at the venue, and actually John has been there all week, really enjoying it, really taking a look around, and of course he's had a look at the venue in focus. Take a peek.
Our venue this week is Dinard, nestled on Brittany's famous Emerald Coast. And that gives the show its own unique atmosphere amongst all the other shows we present on In-Out. It means the horses are warming up in the sea breezes. Spectators walk in from the beach, and everything's got that relaxed, elegant French seaside resort air. But the sport is anything but relaxed. The current showgrounds were purpose-built in 1985 for European Championships, meaning the equestrian facilities here are absolutely second to none. From the second sand arena to the warm-ups, including an indoor one, everything is super horse-friendly in Dinard. And that history here in Dinard brings a huge range of classes, not least thundering down this bank in the prestigious Derby. Whoever is the winner, they'll have played it out against one of the most recognizable backdrops in show jumping, Dinard's famous Sea of Pink.
Yeah, super stuff, and we're looking forward to seeing that sea of pink absolutely flooding the stands there. It's been that way all week. As I say, an incredible show. Five-star action already taking place, Sam. Of course, yesterday we took a look at that five-star class. It was the pre-key player, and our man Ben Maher, wow, some form and some win.
Our man and his lady, Ginger Blue, has been absolutely phenomenal. The winning machine. It was a simple day of show jumping yesterday, in that Ben Maher, the favourite for the 150, took the spoils. I would say quite easily as well. We'll have a look at his round in a second, and then Steve Gerlach went and did the same thing. Our other favourite went and won, and what a job she's doing. Just keeps on racking in the prize money, keeps on clocking up the wins as well. This was the state of play before the competition on your screens. They were, clear favourites as well. You'll see the win chances coming up for today's Grand Prix, and it's always much tighter. Normally, now this was a 150. This wasn't the highest level, so you get some class specialists. Dennis Lynch didn't actually present on Contender Blue PS, so they came out of the reckoning. And look, there were a few people in there. I thought Glamour Girl further down on the screen there with Henrik von Eckermann, I thought they'd give it a good rattle, and they just had a rail down. But you could see later on in the class, Ben and Ginger Blue were about half. Everyone just sort of, they knew it was done, you know, and it's shows, and we so often talk about you're taking on the course designer, and that's why there's such camaraderie in the sport, that these guys, they discuss the course together. They never really feel like they're doing battle against themselves. They feel like they're doing battle against the course. But yesterday with Ben and Ginger Blue, they annihilated the opposition, and everyone else just went in with a white flag raised. There's the stats on screen. 13th five-star win of her career, and yes, a lot of those not coming at the 160 level. Most of those are down at that 150, 155 level. But he's really found the sweet spot, and the 6th win so far in 2026 at these five-star shows. We talk about how special they are, what a big stage they are, and just think of the confidence that this mare gives Ben to have a star like that to pull out, come into the ring, and go and top those podiums. It's a great lift and a great kick, and they're, for me, just one of the combinations of the year so far this season.
Yeah, for sure. And 15 years of age, you know, she would be considered to be a little bit sort of more older, perhaps in the field, and just great to see her in cracking form at 14. Really good sign of things to come. We did something a little bit different with this in review of the class as well. We looked at the course difficulty, Sam, and how that kind of played into the picture and into the results as well.
Yeah, it's a big part of the sport. You don't know how it's going to turn out, and the course designers as well. I think they take a little look at the start list the night before and have an idea of how much they're going to crank it up. We would have expected to see in this one round Table A speed class, you expect to see quite a lot of clear rounds. So 12, it's the yellow numbers, the yellow staircase on the screen is what we would expect, because it was pretty high quality field. We had a lot of horses with 160 experience stepping down to jump in a 150. We'd expect to see 12 clears. We only saw 6. So the white staircase is what we see, and that's a bit more of a wave. It was peaking around the 1 to 4 pen. So it was a tougher course. We predicted an average around 5.2 penalties. It was 6.2. So it was difficult enough days jumping. Some of those going in were finding it tougher jumping than maybe they expected. Julien Anquetin was at the 5-star 150 level.
Winning round went. We also got the chance to catch up with Ben after that round.
Ben Maher now, Ginger Blue for Jane Clark. This lovely combination. Just again an absolute exhibition about how to ride against the clock. The power there the whole time, but had the smoothness and the speed there too. It's a pair that won Grand Prix out in America this year. They won the Paris Grand Prix a few seasons ago as well. It's just wanting to get into that same groove on the way around. Not interfering too much, or not appearing to, but then he never appears to be doing too much. But that's the class of the rider. Lovely through there, hinges beautifully through that triple combination. Second up at the moment. There's more bend into this line than you probably see on the screen. You've got to come quickly here. He's able to just get off the ground. They've got to get across that oxer and just. It's going to run closer. 63.01 to beat, and he's going to get nose over the line at 62.16. So they follow up with the same as we saw last week in Britain, with here in Brittany, Ben Maher and Ginger Blue taking the lead, 62.16. So smooth again. The man is an absolutely star talent, which is why he's won 3 Olympic golds, and just one to sit and watch if you're wanting to develop in the sport.
Ben, congratulations on that win with Ginger Blue. It's your first visit to Dinard, you were saying?
Thank you. Yes, first time. I don't know why we've taken so long to come here. It's a beautiful show, great organisation, huge crowd, big fans here, so really enjoying the weekend.
And just tell us about how Ginger went in that class.
Ginger Blue, she's an incredible horse. We've had her many years now, since she was 6 years old, so we're 7 years old, so we've grown together. We really pinpoint her for the right shows and the right classes, and she's having an incredible year. Rider error the first day, otherwise she could have maybe won a class there, but we made up for it today.
And it feels like after Rotterdam and everything, you kind of the whole string's peaking at the right moment.
Hopefully. It goes like that, a little bit of rider confidence. We've been knocking on the door for quite a long time, a lot of seconds, but bringing Point Break back into the team, kind of everything shuffles around a little bit, and we're able to pinpoint Anjou for the right classes, Ginger Blue and the up-and-coming team behind those guys. I'm very fortunate with the string of horses I have.
And lastly, what's the goal and what's the plan around the Rolex Grand Prix?
The goal is to try and jump a double clear and win. Anjou's in great form. He had quite a lot to do the beginning of the year, many seconds in big Grand Prix. He had a well-earned rest after Aachen Grand Prix and jumped Hicksted last week, unfortunate fence down, but he felt in form yesterday. He managed okay in this type of arena, so hopefully we'll carry on the good form this weekend.
Okay, well, congratulations and the best of luck as well. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Quickly now, because the bell's about to go for the riders to walk this course for the Grand Prix, and I believe he is joined by someone who can give us incredible insight into what's to come this afternoon, Henrik von Eckermann.
Yeah. Absolutely, Amy. Henrik, thank you for coming and joining us. Tell me about, the build-up now for you into a Rolex Grand Prix. What's happening? How early will you get on your horse? You're about to walk the course, etc.
Yeah, depending on the horse, but this horse I have today, Casira, I always warm her up very, very early, so that's already 25 out. And then I warm up, get her really cantering, get her breathing a little bit, and then I do a few small jumps. And then I jump off and give her a bit of a break and do everything with tack and what I have to do. And then I jump up just short before and do only 2-3 jumps.
Your week here at Dinard has been going pretty well. You won on day one. You were just explaining to me how you nearly won, I think, the class we were just watching, that Ginger Blue one. Tell me about the terrain of this arena is incredible, and the designer is somebody we don't meet very frequently, so it's also an ethos that we don't see very much.
No, but the course designer, he knows this ring very, very well, and you see that in his way of course building, because often when you walk his courses, they don't seem so big and so challenging, but just with the terrain it becomes very challenging, especially with a horse who's a little bit not experienced. And also as a rider you need to know it a little bit, but often he gets the numbers right, and so he knows exactly where he should build to get the faults without heavy faults, and that's what I like. You hardly see him building a combination in a bad way that the horses have to really push a lot. He rather do it in the slope on the way down, so it's easy to get a fault on the way. No, I have to say, we don't see him. I don't think I ride any other courses for him, but every year here, and so far he do a good job.
It's an incredible year at Dinard with Aachen 2 weeks away. We've got 4 of the world's top 5, world champion, we've got the Olympic champion, we've got the European champion. There's Henrik von Eckermann in the jump-off. How many are in there with you?
I haven't seen the course yet, so I can't say now. I don't want to say too much, then we have too many clears maybe, but I guess he will get the number around 10, something like that normally.
Okay, Henrik, they're going to ring that bell any second. Thank you so much for coming along and joining us, and that helps us set the scene a tiny bit for our Rolex Grand Prix here in Dinard. As I say, it is just an incredible field. Even looking at the rider list for Dinard made you start salivating and going, this is going to be an incredible weekend of sport. Now that we have the start list, and now also that we've had a little bit of a look from over the barriers at what the course is going to be, I think we're up for a super day of sport, Amy.
We certainly are, John. You couldn't be more correct. And also, it's so wonderful to hear from Henrik, because it doesn't matter when you speak to him or what you speak to him about. I just love hearing the insight he has and hearing him talk about how he is preparing his horse ahead of this class, this particular horse. Just tells you so much about him as a horseman, doesn't it, Sam? He's so tuned in.
I was taking notes. I love that warm-up. He gets on 25 minutes beforehand, does bigger warm-up, gets off, few jumps then just before he goes in.
Yeah, love it.
He's such a thinker, and he knows how to get the best out of them. And watch them. They haven't been on a podium yet individually in a 165 start, but they did take 100,000 out of Satokenbosch for finishing 4th. Just a 10-year-old Casira, but a big result is just around the corner for them.
Yeah, he's wonderful and one of my favourite ever. Fab. Really cool stuff. Rolex series in Dinard. This class is a CSI 5-star table A with a jump off. So 1 round and a jump off, of course, and it's big and full up at 1.60 m. It is the biggest and the baddest in terms of the sport of show jumping. The prize money today, pretty significant, €500,000, $500,000 on the table there for everybody to play for. And our course designer, of course, the very experienced, the man himself, who makes himself at home in Dinard, Jean-Francois Morand, leads the team that build that course today, that Henrik do some of this analysis. Henrik talking about his predictions for clear rounds and how many we're going to find in that jump off, setting up this class today, knowing the list, as we mentioned there, the names that are in it, that come forward, how many go clear? Well,
Henrik thought about 10. That is pretty normal for a Grand Prix of this magnitude. That would be a 25% clear rate. If we were getting 10, because we got 41 starters today. I'm doing a little bit of rounding, any mathematicians out there. But actually here at Dinard, if you look at that yellow number at the bottom of the screen, 20% is the clear rate here. So it's normally a little bit on the tougher side than average for these. And that's with high quality Grand Prix as well, so it attracts a high quality field. Looking at the staircase, as we'd see there, and if I built a staircase like that, something would be wrong. It's pretty up and down, but that is the nature of this. So we've seen in 2023 and 2016 huge, 15 clears in round 1. That obviously makes for a very big jump off. The white numbers there are how many are clear in the jump off. But yeah, we think probably around 8. If you look at 2025, that's pretty much bang on the average as to how this has panned out over the last 10 years as well. So yeah, 8 clears in round 1, maybe 5 or 6 in the jump off, which means it will come down to being pacey and quick to get the win done. But for sure, jumping the clear in the first round, that first half, that first piece of the puzzle, it's pretty hard to do here in Dinard. 20% is a low clear rate.
Yeah, certainly is. I mean, and there, as we said, the list is fully loaded, absolute superstars of the sport, as we know. Up on that list.
This is Shane Sweetness Day. We're going to hear
put that in context for everybody, just in case. Messages, everybody, because it auto corrects to Sweetness every single time.
He's a sweet assassin. I'm not sure if he's going to, you got interviews coming later with him as well, but look, they're the form combination, the top 4 rated horse in the world. James Cancruz, an absolute all-star. We'll be talking lots about them. Hello Folly and Scott Brash, 55% clear chance. When we look at our horses in form, though, they're not registering. I think they've got to refine their form a little bit. Claudio, Richard Vogel as well, just over that 51% clear chance. I think they're huge contenders today. We'll be talking a lot about Richie Vogel, Martin Fuchs and Lord. They're definitely finding their form in recent times, recent months. They're up at 49%. These are our clear chances. This is the algorithm doing its work. And look at those names there. Ben Maher, Luciana Deniz, by the way, let's not skip over her. Vertigo de Desert, I love that combination. Lily Keenan, they're also finding a bit of form. We're going to see them later on our form graphic, but those are the clear chances. Yeah, big names on that graphic.
Yeah, huge, absolutely huge. And we want to put it all into context, of course. This is a very, very big Grand Prix, very important part of that Rolex series, as we say, just 7 events in that series. Let's put it in context by having a look at the former winners then, Sam, and how that kind of sets us up for what we could expect this afternoon.
Yeah, look, nice flags on there. It's been a while since we've seen an Irish flag, but actually James Cancruz does have form in this class. He's been on the podium before, but Bertram Allen back in 2015 and Molly Malone, they took the win there. Just shows our bias that I go straight for the Irish flag, doesn't it? A couple of home winners, Kevin Stout, Beau de Laubrey. 2024 is an interesting year. There was a little insight I found just as we were coming on air. The 1, 2, 3 in terms of horses are all back from 2024. They're back 2 years later to renew their rivalry. Dinard de Cerisi was in a amongst that top 3. But Boat de l'Aubrey will not be ridden by Kevin Stout this year. So the horse is back, the rider is back, but not as a combination. That's interesting as well. Aaron Vale took the win here last year. McLean Ward was another one from the US as well. 3 French winners on there actually. And Martin Fuchs, he's the big one, he's back. Max Kuhner is also back. And he was part of that top 3 as well back in 2024 as well. So big names have taken this, Christian Almans, but they're all here. When you come to Dinard and you get a result, you come back, not just for the prize money and the prestige, but also the sun, sand and sea air.
And the pink outfits.
And the pink outfits and the pink.
Don't forget that. How many can you spot today? Our previous winner, 2025, was from last year.
Grand Prix, it will be Dinard, the last to go with a combination that was one of the most impressive clears in the opening round. Carissimo 25, the Cascadella gelding, in the hands of the USA's Aaron Vale.
Yeah, jumped a super first round. Slightly unusual sort of gait in its canter. But when he jumps, he's just full of elasticity. It's what you need. You need stride and that tempo with it. And Aaron's taking that wide approach to number 1. If he could be faster than Harry on this first bit,
and that's
the only option. I don't think you can do it on the second section.
Oh, he's nearly a second up. Oh, very good.
A little bit of a square turn, but look at this stride. It's like a gazelle. And he's got one off that corner, has he? How's a real chancer? Oh,
he's gone all in. He's rolling the dice. He's got to go for it. Surely, if he jumps it, you have a winner. The last to go, Aaron Vale and Carissimo 25 win the Rolex Grand Prix Ville de Dinard 2025, part of the Rolex series. It goes to the United States with a flying finish. That was one of the most, all-in, fully committed rounds I think I've seen in quite a while.
That was incredible, wasn't it? I mean, we're looking at the jump off, you're thinking you can't really ignore the draw. You know, you've got these 2 fast ones to finish. And as it pans out, there we are. We've got Harry and Aaron. But this, we didn't really know he could go this quick. But he was definitely quicker on both phases of this course. Look at that.
Lovely scenes there from 2025. Who will it be in 2026? Well, we want to dig into some more analysis now with Sam, courtesy of the team at Equeratings, of course. And Sam, as we said, I keep saying it, stacked list. It's almost impossible, well, it seems like a silly question to say the ones on form. Let's have a look at those as we head down towards this Grand Prix today.
Yeah. Lovely to see the arena for anyone who wasn't with us yesterday with Aaron Vale there. But this year, the ones on form is that man, Shane Sweetnam. I was about to give James Cancruz credit for being the man.
He is the man.
He kind of is, though. He's one of our, when we look at the highest rated 10-year-olds ever to come through our system, Explosion, W and Big Star. Are the only 2 horses to have better ratings as a 10-year-old on the Equeratings ELO rating, which you can also see on your screen now on the right-hand side. So we think this horse is an absolute monster and a champion in waiting. He was the champion at Falsterbo a couple of weeks ago, and you will hear from Shane as to his tactics this year. But this is the horse that's on form. And the numbers that you're looking at here, Amy, the rounds, 19 rounds and 13 clears, that's over the last 12 months. At the top level, at 5-star 160 level. So that's a huge workload. That's nearly every second weekend. well, every 2.5 weeks, a couple of times a month, having a round at the top level. And there's a few horses on screen with that, you know, putting out those kind of numbers. So Claudio Richard Vogel as well, 21 rounds, slightly higher work, a little bit younger legs, 12 clears, so a strike rate of 57%. That's quite a drop, you know, going from 68%, which is absolutely elite, proper elite. 57% there for Lord as well, and Martin Fuchs. Again, that's that's working out. If you look at that fourth column over, what the courses are averaging. So Claudio's been jumping on slightly easier courses there at 30% versus Lord at 22%. But these are horses that are basically not an average 5-star 160 horse, but operating at a level that is twice above the average. So it might be your dream as a breeder or a rider to one day have a 160 horse, a horse capable of going into one of those amphitheaters and taking on the course designer. Half of the horses that will do that will never leave all the jumps up. They won't jump a clear round. They'll get in the ring, but they won't get out with a clear. The horses that we've just had on that list and on that screen are operating, the top ones on the list are operating at a clear rate above 50%, which is absolutely phenomenal. That's the kind of equine athletes that we're looking at today.
Yeah, and it's interesting to note there on that list, a number of those horses, James Cancruz being one of them, are the horses that have been confirmed as going to the World Championships in a couple of weeks' time. So that may change things when we look at the scope of how they approach today's class. We'll talk a little bit more about that later through the lens of Shane Sweetnam, I think, of course. And of course at Dublin that will have an impact as well. But we want to talk a little bit more about Mr. Sweetness himself, Shane Sweetnam now. He is, of course, as we saw on the top of that, comes in as our favourite aboard James Cancruz. And as you mentioned, Sam, winning that Falsterbo Grand Prix just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and that, I mean, I lied when I said he was the number 4 rated horse in the world, because the graphic is telling me he's number 3. And that's on our ratings. That's on our own. Echo ratings ELO. So yeah, he's right up there. Point Break actually is number 1 at the moment. That is Ben Maher's world's horse. Ben is here with Anjou de Grisienne, who will be absolutely unleashed. The big question on everyone's lips, and Shane will answer that himself in a matter of minutes. Is what is his plan going to be today, because he's coming in between that Falsterbo win, which he was waiting a long time for. The horse has had a couple of 5-star 160 wins, but are like a big Rolex Grand Prix or something like that. So that was a massive win for them. Their absolute MO is the podiums. We'll get to those numbers in a little bit as well. But favourites on the prediction centre, there's a bit more context to digest. Tactics are going to come into play here. I think I'm going to be looking more for the horses that aren't lining up for World Championships in 2 weeks' time. I think there's a few others just underneath him that will be a little bit hungrier, because to win this, yes, it's going to take a lot of jumping. And the tougher it is in round 1, the more I think it does suit James Cancruz. But if there's 5 or 6 in a jump off, well, we think it's probably going to be 8 in a jump off, but the bigger that jump off is, the less likely for me it is that he's going to win, simply just tactics wise. I don't think he's going to have his foot all the way down.
Yeah, which is why we've broken it down here, because we're going to look at our contender here for this class, because of course we talk a lot about Ben Maher, and he brings forward Anjou de Grisienne today. Anjou not going, but this is...
Yeah, look, there's a few little things coming in here as to why we've pulled him out. Firstly, bang there on the analytics, like he's going to be in our top 5 on Prediction Centre. Anjou and de Grisienne and Ben, they were second behind Lily Keenan and Kekon already on Friday. They were runners-up in the US Equestrian Open final in Wellington, which was a huge Rolex Grand Prix, and 4th then in the Rolex again in Aachen. So they've got a lot of form coming in, and the perfect jump-off record. We'll look at the jump-off stats as well, but they are 6 from 6 at jumping clear in a jump-off. So I think that they could be on, and if you guys were watching the Rotterdam show when Ben won, day streak since he had last won a big 5-star Grand Prix, coming back in London 3 years ago, back in 2023. Very unlike Ben to have such a long wait between big wins, but now I think the tap is going to be opened, and I think he's going to be off. Confidence is high. He's already had a win this week. He's already had a podium with Anjou. Big contenders.
big contenders. And with that in mind then, because he has been identified as our contender going into this class, not our favourite when it comes to the analysis, obviously that lies with Shane and James Cruz, but we want to line him up then against some of the other combinations that will bring the form, and one in particular then, Sam.
The steely-eyed Richie Vogel. Look at that.
Just look at those pictures.
Look at those.
They look like Marvel characters there, don't they?
Yeah. But they're both, though, when they got their game faces on, how often do you see a smile that big on Ben Maher's face? Normally when he's won. Interesting here. When we were looking at the form, when we were looking at the last 12 months, Anjou was down at 40%. I think the big thing when I think confidence is quite high on Claudio, for us the key contender here. But Anjou has 2 wins to Claudio's 1. That's probably the difference there, and a bit more podiums as well. They're almost identical on that Equeratings ELO, which that ELO is dropping. So they're nations, 2 very determined men. They are 2 of our top 5 riders. A lot of numbers being thrown around, but yeah, they're both in the top 5 in the world.
Yeah, we want to talk a little bit about, we're going to go back now, circling back to Mr. Sweetnam, Shane Sweetnam. He is, of course, we have identified him as a favourite going in here purely because of the absolute, the stellar numbers behind him and James Cruz as we come into this Grand Prix. He does have a World Championships coming up in a couple of weeks' time. As I said, that might slightly change things from his perspective. We're going to hear from him in a minute, but he is our rider in focus today, Sam. We've been looking at him a lot.
Yeah, the big thing when we pull up his graphic here, he's got 22 individual podiums at 5-star level at the highest level. That really is absolutely phenomenal. He's been in 20 jump-offs and managed to have 22 podiums, which means that even when there isn't a jump-off, he's getting there. But he's getting there, but that's the huge number. You really have to be talking about it for the rest of your life, and this horse has done it 22 times. Looking at that in context, he's up there in the top 10 horses to have ever done that, and the key is this: he's not done. This is a horse in the middle of his career. We were talking about Ginger Blue earlier at 15. We've seen a lot of horses well onto their late teens still performing at the top level. So this is an absolute all-time great, and he is one of them.
Through what lens and how it will work into his strategy? Well, we're going to hear from him now. He's our rider in focus.
Here to jump, and this is his final preparation for the leg. I have been knocking on the door for a while with this horse to get a major Grand Prix like that, and to get it over the line, and especially the occasion. It was, last to go. It was very exciting, great crowd, and then since then, yeah, I'm just delighted it happened, but obviously we have other goals, so we've moved on to those. So he's in good shape, and hopefully we can keep doing things like that. He's the sort of horse that he loves to show, so if he goes a long time without showing, he's quite set, and it keeps him fit. Grand Prix on Sunday, will I be going as fast as I was in Falsterbo? Probably not, no. But will I jump, try to be competitive enough and jump 2 nice rounds if I can? Yes. Like I said, for him, mentally and physically, it helps him be in a better place. Most of the shows I've done this summer with him have been on grass, obviously thinking towards the WEG. He's an Irish horse, so he loves the grass anyway. And he's been here to Dinard a few times before and jumped well, so it seems preparation. You just never know with show jumping. The most important thing is you have to listen to your horse and see what kind of, they'll tell you, or he'll tell you what kind of shape he's in. So yeah, he's just showing all year really that he's been in good form. So hopefully he can keep that. But they are animals, and you just never know. Dinard is, every year always has the best riders here. It's a Rolex show, and it's one of the best shows in the world. So I think everyone has, there's a lot of the WEG horses here have an eye on Aachen. Some are jumping big classes, some are jumping small classes, but I think it's an ideal sort of environment to get you ready for Aachen. I think that if I could be double clear on Sunday in a good way, wherever I finish, I'll be happy. It's always a tough class, so you know, that'll get a good placing, I'd imagine, as well, if that could happen.
There you go. You heard it here first. Let's look forward to seeing how things play out this afternoon in this Grand Prix, and for Shane Sweetnam and it's down by the arena. Of course, they have been walking that course, the riders now, so they will have a clear idea of how things are going to look for down there from the arena.
Thanks, Amy. Yeah, it's really interesting down here. The terrain, as ever, used magnificently in this arena. It's kind of a course that's breaking out, I think, into 3 sectors. He's got them quite open and free for the first 4 or 5 jumps, and then as he sets them down towards the triple combination, coming quite early at fence 6, he really amps it up. You don't have a moment to breathe then, all the way through until about fence 11 or 12 on this track here in Dinard. One of the fences I think is quite interesting in the middle of that. After you jump the triple combination, which is vertical, 2 strides vertical, 1 stride oxa, you roll around your right shoulder to the water, and that'll suit some people because you won't have that super long approach to the water that sometimes really winds up horses, sometimes winds up the riders more than the horses. But then after, we have the Rolex plank. Normally on the Rolex series we've got a wall, but here we've got a plank. As ever, they use onto the top rail or the top bricks when it was the wall, the show color, and here it is pink, and it's going directly towards the wall of the arena. I did manage to take a picture earlier on, I don't know, yes, there we are. So you can see that the top 2 rails, the top 2 planks, there's a really light plank, and then that also sits right in the hollow in the middle of the ring. This ring slopes down from the main public tribune to a hollow and slopes back up towards the Derby banks at the back of the arena, and then over by fence 4 there's this own wall of death, I keep calling it. It's like a real carousel over there, and that's going to make fence 4, by the old in-gate that we've used the rest of the week, its own little bit of influence. A tough finish as well with the triple bar coming in on the final line. I think there's a lot to play for, and I think all of that analysis. James Cairn-Cruz in there, yeah, he will hope to be doing a Pier Giorgio Bucci at Rome and be the only double clear. But you've got the likes of Richie Vogel, you've got Ben Maher, you've got Scott Brash, and preparing, and therefore they've got absolutely nothing to lose. So what an afternoon we have ahead of us.
Certainly true. So true. And fantastic insight there. Like, true. Look at that picture. So cool to see that from that perspective, because watching at home, we may not have had that clear indication of how...
He's using every plank as well. It's so delicate.
We see you, Jean-Francois. Cheeky, sneaky. We want to just do our last bit of analysis then, Sam, before we get down to the pointy end of things, as I like to say. This is where, if you're putting bets on today, you need to pay very, very close attention to what comes now. Obviously, talking about that jump off, if you are looking down the barrel of a list of riders, these are the ones that are the dangerous ones.
Absolutely. And we heard from the man himself, Shane, in his own words, that he might not be going quite as fast as he was in Falsterbo. We talked about his 22 career 5-star 160 podiums. Well, he's also been in 22 jump-offs, clearing 19 of them. So the stats we're looking at here is when there's a jump-off at the top level. So most of these classes in these Grand Prix are jump off, not all of them though. One to keep an eye on there, Bernard de Cerisi and Steve Gerda. He's not really come up on our radar yet on this show when we're talking about him, but if he gets through to that jump off, really experienced combination, much loved combination. They've got more wins than any other one. They've got 7 at 5-star 160, 4 of those coming in jump off classes, and a pretty good conversion rate. Look at their jump off clears to podiums as well. So very like James Cairn-Cruz. Very efficient. Anjou de Grouzy and Ben Maher, we flagged them as a key contender. 6 from 6. If they get through that first round, if they're clearing round 1, absolutely ones to watch. 6 podiums as well. Further down the list, there's one I'm going to really flag up here because they played a little bit of a role as well in Rotterdam. But Gangster for Luke D, just being in 2 jump-offs at the top level, but 2 podiums, and their form outside of the 160 level as well. That was not unexpected what they did, giving Ben Maher a pretty good run for his money in Rotterdam. I think they could be ones to watch as well. Richie Vogel, who we put up there as our, he's sort of playing the number 2 role on the analytics to James Cancruz, but I think in reality he's the one where yeah, a lot of the cards are pointing in his direction today. I think with Shane Sweetnam possibly not going to be asking for 100%.
Yeah, and as with all great tradition, in fact, become Australian, because that's what we do. We just adopt them if they get talented and good. So he just needs to keep going because he's already almost there. That's great, Sam. So we've looked at that jump off, looking at what we might be picking up there. This is again where we're going to put our money down now by having a look at the win chances. Yeah, this is putting all of the conversation we've had to date, all of the analytics that we've had to date. We've looked at who's been jumping well in round 1. We've looked at who's dangerous in a jump off. We put it all together now. That Irish flag is still at the top of the analytics prediction center, and the algorithms haven't listened to the interview, but that's what the numbers say in terms of him. So Contenders at 9%. Scott Brash, that is a number that we've not looked at in any of our graphics yet. So form, they're actually only 1 from 6 in terms of jumping clear just this year. So I think Hello Folly needs to kind of find the form again a little bit. But they did so well. They were on the podium in the Europeans last year as well. I enjoy watching Hello Foley and Scott Brash. She's an absolute ball of energy, a little bit like James Cancruz himself. These horses have so much energy, so much love for the game that their riders are just sort of trying to keep a lid on the athlete. They'll be interesting to see. Anjou de Grisienne is there. Martin Fuchs, he's won this twice in the last 5 runnings. With Lord, he's got a right chance here. Lily Keenan and Kick On, they won earlier this week on Friday. What are they going to do now? That's another worlds combination that will be interesting. Vertigo de Desert for Luciana Deniz, same sort of question. The French have 2 good contenders there. I think Kevin Stout, who won this 2 years ago with Baudelaire, I think that they're a big contender, as John flagged, Julien Epiard as well. And Henrik von Eckermann, I think Kazira is very, very close to a big result. Could it be today? Or again, is he keeping that horse under wraps a little bit with Aachen in mind? But that horse was also went pretty well in Aachen in the Rolex Grand Prix as well. So has good form on grass. And Henrik could be back because he's kind of been a little bit under the radar in recent years. Bubbling away there, and that's, always be aware when he's bubbling away slowly. When is it going to bubble over? When is it going to peak?
Yeah, I think Ben very solid for a podium. I'm going to put him either 2nd or 3rd. Richie as well. For me, it's between Richie and Scott. So I'm going to go. And by the way, in this world rankings race, because Ken Farrington's current world number 1, he's the only one that's missing. But Richie's number 2, Scott's number 3, Ben's number 4 in the world. Shane Sweetnam is number 5. They're just having a right time. So I'd love to see Scott and Richie in the jump off. And if they are both there, I think Scott could edge it. And Hello Folly, he could be back with a bang. I'm going to go Scott.
First, folks, get your wallets out, put your money down. If you're watching on YouTube, now is the time to turn over to the Clip My Horse TV 24/7 channel. You can watch the rest of the In and Out studio as well as all of the sporting action for free on the 24/7 channel.
Devon Elite 5-star Grand Prix.
They are shows you just want to be your best. You can really feel the weight of the history when you come here.
He will jump maybe the biggest fancy of the year.
It takes determination and hard work, not just great horses.
For the summer as well, and the very best riders in the world competing. A large part of the world's top 20 here this week as well, including there the world champion in Henrik von Eckermann. A man who's won the previous European Championship in Roger-Yves Boss there as well, making up an all-star lineup of 41 that we'll see in the first round this afternoon for this Rolex Grand Prix.